Okay, hi, my name is Megan Pate. I'm doing my theory competency over the interactional view theory by Paul Václavic out of Stanford. I chose to do this theory competency because reading through it, just all of the different definitions and things that were, the concepts that were explained in it all seemed very familiar to me. And I think really basically anyone, simply because of their familial format. So basically what the interactional view states is that family as a system, each member functions individually and affects the whole. So each person within the family creates their own individual role, but that role and the way that they communicate their feelings and thoughts and whatnot, it plays with the rest of the group. And so nothing is, it's all fluid and moving, and it can't be based solely on one person and how they communicate. So he says relationships are complex functions that link together multiple variables. And it was a lot like a math equation. That's the way he explained it. So like in an algebra equation, you can sub different numbers in for the letters in the equation, and then you get these completely different outcomes based on these different variables. And the way that made sense to me was like in a family setting, adjusting even in the context, it's called reframing. It's like changing your perspective, like seeing, trying to see something from someone else's point of view, and being being capable of doing that. If you could do that, then if you can change your perspective, it can completely alter the entire interaction within the whole family just because of one variable. So he goes on and he talks about communication and how it's basically a combination of what is said and how it's said. And as a wife and a woman, we often hear about how women kind of like disguise our feelings. And like a typical example is when we would say like, I'm fine. You say, our husbands come to us and they say, I'm really sorry about that, or sorry I did that, and we'll say it's fine, and we don't mean it's fine, but we expect you to interpret that because of the way that the way it comes across. So that was basically there was the context, or like what was the information that I said, which was it's fine, and then let me see real quick. I want to say the right word. The content, and then the relationship. The relationship in which I said that particular phrase was made for the sole purpose of you understanding that, like, of my husband understanding that I am upset. And so I'll say it's fine, but it's really not fine. And that's completely different than if I had been sick or had a bad day, and my husband comes to me and he says, how are you? Is everything okay? Can I get you anything? And I say, it's fine. I'm fine. Like, because then I genuinely mean it. And that relationship portion of the message plays so huge in how a relationship is portrayed. And that happens with each member within the family. So the textbook gives an example of a family in which the youngest son is an alcoholic or is beginning to have alcohol problems, and how that affects everyone in the family. And the father is he deals with it by, he doesn't want to be super controlling, and he tries to give his son some space, while the mother does things like nags or is overbearing and confronts the son a lot, and says that she wouldn't have to do that if the husband would talk more. She's reliant on him for her own communication purposes. And that's basically the whole theory in a nutshell, is that in communication, whether it be in family or group settings, large groups of friends. Any girl could tell you that you have a large group of girlfriends, and there's always going to be like at least two that link up, and then they, because they share something together that maybe some of the other girls in the group don't necessarily share, and the way that you communicate with one another will bond you. So a mother and a father conflicted about something with a child are going to have problems. One of the other things that they talked about was meta communication, and how it's basically communication about communication, and how that can be so helpful to discussing issues and creating better dialogue between two people, is talking about what in your communication is wrong. Why are we having these issues, and what can we do? Like, why do you not understand me? And what can I do to make you better understand me? What can I say that's going to help you better assess the situation, so that we can communicate better and therefore get to the real issue, which is not our communication issues. So overall, the theory just seemed like the best, or the most, out of all the ones that I've read so far, the most relatable and the easiest to understand. And I really enjoyed the theory for that reason. So that is all I have.